and welcome to this special Women's History Month interview. I'm Samantha Deal, and today we're here at Brookdale Meridian Assisted Living, and I'm here with 7-year resident Joan, and we're just going to talk with Joan about her time here and what she's done for the community. So thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
And to start, can you tell me about your journey and your time here at Brookdale Meridian?
Okay, I've had 2 strokes, and so I came here after the last stroke, and I've enjoyed it a lot. I do a lot here. We do a lot of activities, and I think that I appreciate it because I've always been in a field where I helped other people. So now I'm having to, get a little help myself, and so it's nice to be able to get here.
And what are some of your favorite activities that they do here?
Well, we went bowling yesterday, and we had a lot of fun with that. But we do have a van, and we take it when we want to go someplace. And we play cards. We have church activities. I'm learning to play cribbage. I still drive, so I get out and about town a lot. My family's real close here. So I get to go to all my grandson's games. They're real busy in basketball and wrestling, and so I get to see that. They go to school right next door, which is handy. Lots of things like that.
Good. And you said before you're used to, in your old career, helping others. So what did you do?
I worked for mental health for 45 years. I started out as a receptionist, and then in later years I became PR and customer service and crisis. I like that the best. I like working customer service and really appreciate that in other places we go. And I did emergency service most of the time. It's a small mental health center. And now my son works there. He's a psychiatric nurse. He's working in the same place. But it was never boring. I can't say it was ever boring the whole time I was there. And with that, I got to go to New York after 9/11 and worked with the Red Cross there, worked down in the pit for 2 weeks, which was really a nice thing. I went with my girlfriend, Roxanne Perry. She's a nurse. And we spent a lot of time with the police and the firemen who hadn't left since September. They'd been there. And they were still finding lots of pieces of bodies. So it was pretty taxing work. We said we'd never be the same when we came back, but we'd do it again in a minute.
That's an incredible story, and
yeah,
the fact that you were on the ground at such a monumental moment in history, and that you were able to help them. But I'm sure for you that takes a toll on your mental health. How do you deal with that?
Yeah, I've always worked as a part of a team, and in a way I still do now yet today. I think teamwork really pays off, and we take care of each other. My girlfriend and I spend a lot of time together yet and still talk about it. I think it's important that people remember 9/11. So in September I try to do some kind of presentation here, let people talk a little bit about it. I think everybody remembers where they were. So.
Oh, thank you for sharing that. So I'm told you are a welcome ambassador.
Yes.
Can you tell me more about that position, what that entails, what you do?
Yeah, sure. When you come here or go any place out of your home, I think it's real scary. You're leaving your home and the things you know so well. And that first day here is really frightening. I know my son came with me, and I met a nice lady who since died, but she kind of took me under her wing right away, and that made a difference. This is kind of when we eat, this is kind of some things you might like to do, and she was kind of my friend from day one. And so that's the purpose, I think, is just to introduce yourself to people, let them know what's available here, and not swallow them up with a whole bunch of facts the first day, but just kind of be there for them.
I like that, because if you give too much to them up front, it's just going to be overwhelming and
They
might
won't
not
hear
adjust
it.
well.
Yeah, then they just won't hear it, you know.
So how long have you been a Welcome Ambassador for?
Oh, probably, I kept telling them no, so probably about 5 years now, 4 or 5 years.
Why'd you keep telling them no?
I just didn't want to take anything else on for a while.
Understandable.
They caught me in a weak moment and I said yes. So I like it. We have a meeting once a month and I run the meeting and then give all the information to the director and to Tori, our activities director, so things can be worked on, problems. When I first started going to the meetings, it was just people sitting there and complaining. And I would leave, I just didn't like it. So once I started having meetings, the first thing we have to do is compliment something. And over the time, it's made a difference.
I like that, it's a positive impact.
Right.
So, this is interview up for Women's History Month. Can you tell me some things you admire about the women in your life, whether they're still alive or not?
I think probably the first woman I admired was my mother. I can't remember her ever being afraid of anything. She married my dad out of high school during the war, and probably World War II, I imagine, and worked for him, and they were always together. They were together till they died. But she was a strong person. Her father was a minister, and I really aligned with him. Although he was dead before I was gone, he was a circuit minister with Indians, with Native Americans, and that was something I wanted to do as a kid, was be a missionary with Indians. But over the years I kind of found out you can kind of be a missionary any place, you know. And I wasn't as good as her, I think, with all the religious parts of it, just other ways too. But a lot of strong people, I've known a lot of strong women. We were the first mental health center to have a woman director, a real strong woman who is still alive. And sometimes it wasn't liked, but did some really wonderful things. And my girlfriend, she and I have a couple of close friends, and they're strong people too. So as people I've bumped into have, you know, kind of made a difference. I like that.
I like that too. It's important to have those people in our lives. Do you have any advice you can give to any women or young women out there who are starting off their journey of life or maybe professionally?
I would say that women or men, either one, have to take care of themselves too and live in the present. So many people live in the past or in the future, and try to focus on what's happening now and enjoy yourself a little bit, you know. I'm always telling my grandsons that have some fun too. I've always had fun at work. I've had bosses I have 2 bosses that I still have lunch with once a month, who happen to live over here. But I think that's really important. And I always had people that would have my back, and I tried to have their backs. But I think it's important to have fun besides work. And some other thing I guess I would say is have some kind of goals. And whether you're handicapped or disabled, you still have to have goals. You know, and whether it means walking down 2 halls instead of 1 a day, you know, or walking the whole building. And I think one thing I do think is that people come into assisted living too late in life. we see a lot of people come here that don't live very long. And it's kind of too bad because by the time they come here, they don't get to enjoy any of the good things and don't enjoy their family in a different way at a time when the family doesn't have to take care of them, just can have fun with them. That's too bad. And I have a friend right now that's kind of thinking about assisted living, and I've been encouraging her to come over, just see what it's like, you know, and maybe not wait till the last minute to get someplace.
That's an interesting thought. I've never heard about that or thought about that myself.
Yeah, I sold my house 2 summers ago, and I'm real glad I don't have to mow the yard and shovel the walks anymore. I don't have to do my own laundry and.
Whoa.
Yeah,
Whoa.
isn't that nice? You're a little bit too young yet. But
Yeah, I still do my own laundry right now.
I imagine. And you know, the meals are cooked, and so I can do other things. Now I'm interested in maybe working for the Disabilities Act people at state level, because they do some real funny things for people that are disabled, like have bathrooms upstairs and walks that you can't get down. So, and people are a lot more disabled than I am. So I'm kind of, that's my new kind of thing.
Accessibility is huge, and you don't, until you're around people who have difficulties or
Right.
you yourself are going through that, you don't realize how the world isn't built accessible for people.
Right, it isn't.
So what does Women's History Month mean to you?
Well, there are women that have tremendous histories. We know some of them, we've heard them in the news and on TV, but there are so many we've never heard about. My girlfriend Lee, she and I were on our way to Alaska when I had my last stroke. I had the stroke in Montana, and it was all, every trip was all paid for and everything, a cruise. But she wouldn't leave me. I got to Seattle and went in the hospital. She stayed right there, got a townhouse, and she was there every day. And she could have gone on. Now I think that that's a woman that's a hero. 9/11, there was tremendous women there. In fact, there's been a book written about the women of 9/11. The women, police women that had lost sons and stuff. Pretty fantastic. But I think that history doesn't have as many women as men, and they're both important. We have phenomenal women here. In fact, I'm going to push for trying to get a lot of them recognized, you know, and we've had some women that have done some pretty exciting things.
Well, thank you for sharing your story and for talking about this with me. Is there any other topics you want to cover? Anything else you want anyone to know about you?
No, I think assisted living in itself is really a wonderful thing because I'm really independent. And so I can drive and I can go. I was out last night and I can go out when I want to. And people look at it like nursing care, and it's not nearly as restrictive. And this is a beautiful place. You know, it looks real nice, and it is nice. So that's fun. That's good.
Yeah, I know this place is very beautiful for anyone who hasn't been here, and obviously I can tell you have a very good quality of life. You have fun, you are
Sure.
active, you're doing things with people, so I do think people probably aren't as aware of what assisted living could look like.
No, I know when I was told that I couldn't go home, it was terrible. You know, it was a terrible thought, and I thought of not this, I didn't think of this, and fortunately somebody brought me over to look at it. So I'm always willing to talk to people that are interested.
Well, thank you again for being a welcome ambassador and helping so many people transition here, which can't be easy at all. And again, thank you for joining us on our Women's History Month interview.
Thank you for inviting me. It's nice to have a woman interview me too.
Oh, exactly.
supporter, and I'm glad you're here too.
For those who don't know, we have a cameraman behind the scenes. And again, thank you so much for joining us, and thank you for watching.